What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This week I'm back for a new video, and this time for more groovy hypnotic techno with BLANKA. For this one I've been inspired a lot by her latest track, which is called I Choose You. As usual, you can get the project file in the link in the description if you want it. Thank you for supporting the channel by liking, subscribing and boosting my videos. Thank you guys so much. Now let's get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna first go to the kick bass group. So I have a lot going on here. This is how it sounds, but first I started with the kick. So to make the kick, I used Serum. I just draw down a simple note like this, and then I made this kind of 909 kick. So to do so, I use this setup that I use a lot. So just a sine wave that can distort a little bit, and then using the filter envelope with that LFO to drag and make something that you like. Once I have this, I record this to audio, and then I'm gonna beef it up a bit. So I'm using here Kelvin, which is a saturator. So you can use the oscilloscope to see at each step of the processing how it is. So here I'm beefing it up and then cleaning a little bit that mid-range area. Then I'm creating that punch with some compression, cleaning it up again, and then just boosting it heavily with the limiter to get like a fat kind of sausage like this. I then render this to audio to get my kick sample, and I can also create a rumble from this. So to do so easy, you can use, so here just copy pasted, but actually I just need a Pro R here to make like a reverb thing, and then you render this to audio. You're gonna get the kick punch here and the tail to make a rumble here. So then I created this group, which is a bit more groovy. So here you have the punch. I just use like a slight reverb. It creates a bit of an ambience. I then sculpt it a little bit. I think I go back here to sculpt it because I have some distortion overdrive here. And yeah, just limiting after to get something fat. Here, I think I didn't use it. So this is my punch, then this is my rolling pattern. So here I'm just creating like a random 16 rolling pattern that I humanize. I also change a little bit like the starting point, the finish point. I have some randomization on the velocity also. It's gonna create some groove. And then I'm using this rack from React that I use a lot. Basically it's just delay and reverb. So here you see that I have big resonancy that I cut. And here I'm gonna cut the low end because I'm gonna have it from the rumble and sidechain. So this is going to be a rolling pattern, and then from the rumble I have my rumble that I got from here, and here I isolate the low end to get like a sub, and also just fade it here to don't get that clip. And then I have another kind of rolling rumble that I do also with the punch, and another kind of pattern like this with like half of reverb. It's gonna change a little bit the groove from the rumble. And altogether, it's glued by drum bass. Here it's more hypnotic and deep feeling. And it's more groovy and compressed with a lot of a drive. A little drive and just a dry wet to cut like the high end. So here it's maybe boosted a little too much, but I think I cut it after. I'm just using the compression with the OTT here. I think I could cut it here a little bit. That's what I will do. So I will render this to audio to create that kick. And then just working a little bit more on it to get back some punch because it was a bit overcompressed and heavy EQ actually to control the mids. Final drive with the clipper. And I will render this to audio and this is going to be my kick. So of course here you get the master chain. So I'm adding back here like a little click that was missing because of the overdrive. Here I'm just boosting a lot, doing some last overall EQ. And you can see on the span that I have something that's pretty balanced, and that's what you will aim for. Like a nice slope like this. And so altogether I will add even more groove with some toms here. So I have this pattern and here it stays in the bass or low mids using a slight reverb, some overdrive to muffle it through. A side bass, which was really inspired from the track that I choose from BLANKA. So here just picking a side bass that is in the key of my track or my kick that I choose here, F sharp. And same processing, just adding a bit more space with the groove delay. And then I'm gonna play here with that automation to make it grow like this. And I have a final kind of sine. So I make sure it doesn't clash all around, but I'm gonna sidechain all. Here is just a sine wave, basic shape, and same processing. And this is going to be my kick bass. So yeah, a lot going around. Here, this is really like the basic rumble kick or kick plus sub. And then some things are going to create some groove more in the mid-range or in the low mids, usually in those tracks. And this is going to be either toms or basses, bass lines or blips or sine waves. And this is how I made it. So next on the list, I have my drums. So several drums here. So it's going to be, of course, composed of open hats, closed hats, rides, and shakers. So you have almost always this kind of open hat, or like offbeat closed hat. Creating a little bit more groove with that pattern, so not just the open hat like this, but like having one ear that's being sidechain is going to create a swell and it's going to create a groove. I have also my groove delay to create a bit of movement and the hallucination preset. Then it's heavy EQ to get something a bit more balanced, because here it's pretty harsh on those high frequencies. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Here I can play also with the automation to make it come slowly. I have my sidechain also on the group. I have another kind of open hat here same preset, sidechaining, and something very straightforward. I play also here to put it a bit on the left and the other one a bit on the right, or it depends on the width of the sample. I have then a shaker loop. I like it, there was lots of groove in it and pretty wide. Again, same kind of processing, so my reverb, my groove preset, and sidechain and controlling the very high end. I then have another hat loop. So the strengths of these samples is that you already have some kind of groove, velocity and placement. So you can use it to your liking, play with the pitch to make a different sample, and also play here with the transient, and it's gonna play with the length of those hi-hats. And then applying the same chain, same reverb, same delay, same sidechain, same kind of control. And using also the auto filter to make it move slowly in the track. Here, another technique. So I choose another humanized loop that I liked. So what was interesting here is that I have some groove, and you can here use the convert drums to a new MIDI track, and it's gonna basically extract the groove from it. You're gonna keep the velocity, keep the placement, and then you can just replace drum rack with the sample of your liking, and that's what I did here with that sample. And then you can also recreate side of it or change the placement to make something different, and that's what I did. So here, something very hairy, something that moves in the background with the autopan and lots of reverb that comes here to make a swell with the return channel. Always put like an endless smile on my return channel with a sidechain, and you can create the swells and effects for your transitions here. Then I have a ride. For this one, I just took the 909 ride and I created my pattern here with some volume changes. Change also the pitch. And then same chain controlling here. Not the mids, I don't want it. Putting also some autopan. And yeah, all those drums are basically very coherent because I use the same reverb, same kind of delay, and then it's just mixing and placing and having different grooves on the different elements of the track. I then have a clap. 909 clap with this pattern, velocity movement here, little variation at the end of 2 bars, then creating something more sharp, more slappy with a drum bass with same kind of processing chain, delay, reverb, compression, and just final EQ. Pretty straightforward. Okay, next is the harmonics. So I have the blip, the main blip here. So I kind of studied what she was using. You can use like a spectrum to see how it sounds and which frequency is used. What I saw is that there was like a mix of two blips together. So that's why I use this. So I have the main note and something with a lower velocity that is actually like 5 semitones upper, and I could also add like an octave. It's just a basic shape like this. I can saturate to create a little bit more harmonics, and then just creating the space with that reverb to make it alive. And then just creating again an automation so that it evolves a bit. And then you can try different frequencies depending also on the key of your track. And this is how you're going to be and make that main blip. You can use also here a delay to make it a bit more alive. And I have another kind of blip These are more weird and more in the background, more random also. And here what I used is the same. So I just took like a plug, like a, I think yeah, it's a factory plug that you have here. So a little bit more harmonics at first, but everything is transformed thanks to these grain delays. So those grain delays are pretty important to make something weird, and to make it move a little more, I kind of linked here the frequency of this grain delay to an LFO that's slowly moving, and that's not too much movement. And it's gonna make sure every hit will be different and slowly moving from the main frequency. And I have another one here with 2 notes. Same patch, same reverb, same delay, and it's gonna create like that second blip. So next I have some whisper vocals. So I just throw down a few whispering vocal.
Fear the unknown, dark descent.
You can play also with the pitch here to make from the same sample different whispers that I throw down along the track, and again everything will be distracted or change with those grain delay, and it's gonna create weird stuff like this. And this huge delay to make it even more weird.
We're all going extinct.
And to have something that lasts in the background. And basically these effects are what I use. Like the processing is the same here for the effects you will see after. So just before that, I'm gonna show you here the pad. So for the pad, I just use like a random preset from Ableton, analog slow sweep pad. I make it like a pad because otherwise it's more of a synth. So with a big long reverb. And as you can see, I have even 2 to make it more moody. And then it's about controlling those very harsh frequencies. So I have also some movement with the automation. I have also some movement here with the pitch bend and with a weird pitch bend. So here I'm using two notes. Here the root note is not very important because as you're gonna bend the pitch, it's gonna be inharmonic in any case. And here I'm just doing it the same for the lower octave. With the same pitch bend. And this is going to create those weird kind of pad. Then I have my effects. So for the effects, I have some steady effects like these noise and perks. So I'm gonna show you. So here it's more like a background. So it's really like Foleys or random stuff as a sample source. And then creating weird stuff with the grain delay, making it more as an atmosphere or as a background with a 100% reverb, and then sidechaining on the group. I did the same here with the perk. So these are more like background atmospheres and stuff. to accompany the kick. And it's the same technique each time, creating something weird with grand delay, putting it in the room with delay and reverb, and sidechaining and controlling also with an EQ, and that's it. And these are the steady effects, and you have also random effects, so more acting as leads or stuff that kind of appear randomly in the track. And here I'm using more harmonic stuff like bass effects, but again transforming it with a grand delay, playing with the pitch. I can also do that. Yeah, that could work. And I have some random bass effects like this, then other kind of sweeps, impacts, perks, or whatever stuff. Again, playing with the grand delay and putting it in the room. And final one here. Here to cover like all the track with those different effects, more random. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Then just a sweep noise here that I have on top of my sweeps that are created with the return channels. But basically that's it for the track. What you can see that even if you have few elements, you gotta make sure you still have lots of movement ongoing. So it's either comes from automation or LFO automation. It can come from grand delays, from reverb, everything that creates a bit of randomization, even if you get a pretty steady space for your hypnotic track. All right, that's it, guys. I hope you like it. Tell me what you think in the comments, and I see you in the next one. Ciao, guys.